Hello, everyone. I'm John, and welcome to BS in the Bucket. It's been a while. Today's topic is going to be picking up a hobby. And first part, before we get into all that great stuff, we're gonna start with a nice beverage, and I swear this ties into everything. But I've got with me a nice little bottle of Ninkasi Brewing Company Pacific Rain Northwest Pale. Not a sponsor, unless they want to, because I will definitely take I'll take the paycheck for sure. But picking up a hobby, I've been wanting for a long time to. Oh, by the way, it's just me. In case you couldn't tell, technically this is episode 4. Um, there is a third episode. I have it. It was recorded 4 years ago with the other ones, but it never got posted because it took a long time to do the whole process of like doing all the doodles and everything. And I got to it, and then well, life just kind of happened. There's like a whole backstory to all that. Lots of exciting, interesting stuff. So, but anyway, I'm sure you'll realize as well. I tend to ramble when there's not a second voice here to kind of reel me in. So we'll see how much of that I keep to a minimum. But yeah, I've wanted to do this for a while, and let's take a sip of this. Hold on. Um, it's passable. Hmm. I'm going to avoid giving like proper reviews or anything because we're just going to talk about this whole deal. But anyway, for a while now, I've been wanting to kind of get back into like doing like a podcast and just a lot of the creative stuff that I used to do a lot, especially when I was younger. And so, sort of backstory to that, I guess, me and one of my coworkers was just chatting at work about like just whiskey and whatnot because I'm really big into whiskey. And I got the idea of like, hey, I could do like a podcast with that, just like things whiskey related, not necessarily just like drinking and talking about like, the different bottles or whatever that I'm trying and whatnot. Because I mean, I could do that too. I'm sure I would have. Uh, oh, excuse me. Yeah, that beer's coming up already. That was quick. Okay. And so I wrote up a list of like all the things that I could do with that, because I was excited about it. Like, hey, I'm gonna finally be able to do like another podcast. It's been forever. Been wanting to do one anyway. And then I realized that me just sitting by myself, like kind of getting toasted, talking about whiskey, is probably not the most entertaining or the most interesting. Um, you know. So I was just like, hey man, I'm probably not gonna get to it because, you know. But then he brought the idea of hey, like, what, just do whatever, like, just do some drinking a little bit maybe. I was like, you know what, that's almost exactly minus the drinking. What this previous podcast I had was meant to be, hence the name BS in the bucket, just like kind of sitting here BSing for like whenever, however much time, And so I listened to the 2 episodes that were posted, and got back into that, and yeah, here we are making episode number 3. So very, very interesting. So there was very little preparation for this, for picking up a hobby. I was just like, you know what, I got a general idea about what I want to talk about when it comes to that. Let's just kind of see what happens. And yeah, here it is. So I guess we'll get into kind of like advice, I suppose, picking up a hobby, whatnot. Let's see. I would say, and this is probably something that people have heard, many times over, because but I think a lot of it kind of rings true. But I would say when it comes to picking a hobby, just kind of, just kind of go for something, um, and don't worry about going cheap, depending on what it is that you're doing. Like I would say, if you're doing something creative, like with your hands, say you're doing like some painting, or maybe you want to try doing some like wood art, anything like that. I would say absolutely, whatever gets you interested, get your foot in the door. Like say that you're not really so sure about it. You're looking at like wood burning kits or whatever. You're just like, I don't know. These all just seem like they cost some money and whatnot, or maybe they don't. And so I would say, start cheap. especially if you're not sure about something. If it's a hobby you've been wanting to kind of get into for a while, but you just haven't been so sure about where to start, same thing. I would say start cheap, because even with crappy, basic products, I think you can still do a lot of really great things. I do some wood burning as well. And when I first got into it, I just went on Google. It's like, hey, wood burning set. And of course, there was like a range. And what I ended up doing is I just walked over to the, not walked, I went over to the Home Depot and they had one kit available. And I was like, you know what? That's the one. And I ended up really liking it because it came with so many different nubs and I have no idea how to use any of them. Honestly, I just stick to like two of them because that's what I can do. But it doesn't matter because I was enticed by the kit. I would say another big thing if you're doing something creative, like again, like painting or whatever, um, go for what interests you, like whatever captures your interest. If you like the little square thing that's not a canvas, just like a square thing of whatever, and you're like, hey, I like that thing, then grab that thing. It doesn't matter if it's a canvas or not. If it's what you're interested in, you're gonna be much more likely to actually do give it a try, do the hobby, rather than sitting around being like, I don't know, man, I bought this stuff and now I'm kind of like, what do I do with it? Not as interested anymore. So, yeah. Um, and I would say, if you don't end up liking something, that's not really a big issue. Hopefully, depending on what it is you're trying to get into, if you're trying to do like glass blowing, you're like spending a ton on classes, I would say still not the worst thing if you decide, it's not for me, you gave it a try, but yeah. Let's see. What's another good? So, like, I guess a good example for that is, as I mentioned already, I'm a very creative person, do a lot of things. I do that wood burning, I do painting as well. I make music, I write, I do my own comics and stuff, all that great stuff. But my next project I've decided is I want to do some kind of pottery. I know nothing about working with clay. I've never sculpted anything. Well, I think in fifth grade I did. I made a crappy little lion that looked like he was probably missing a few brain cells or more. But I would say that's probably the extent of my knowledge there, and that was a while ago. Wow, that was a long time ago actually. But yeah, I know nothing about it. But I thought, yeah, I'm just gonna try it. Why not? Just go for it. And I think that's also a pretty good way to get into a hobby. Just go for something, even if you don't know anything about it. You know about how it works. If you just get your hands onto it, I do think that's a good start for things. Because you'll figure it out. If you end up enjoying it, then you'll look more into it. You'll of course improve as you do more of it. If you end up saying like, "Hey, I don't like this," well then you really didn't invest too much into that. So I'm not really sure what I want to make yet. Um, I'll figure it out. I'm sure. Probably something, some kind of like little animal, I suppose. Probably the easiest that I can think of to do with that. You know, Probably most recently, the closest I got to like actually sculpting something was I did some carving with spam for Thanksgiving. I took a block of spam and I decided because I saw this on the internet and I was like, hey, that looks really cool. Why not me do it? And I saw somebody had taken it and carved it into a little mini turkey. And I was like, wow, that sounds great because I don't care for turkey on Thanksgiving. I think it tastes like napkins. It has the consistency, the flavor. It's napkin meat. Um, so I was like, you know what? I'll just buy a block of spam for this and see where it goes. And you know what? It looked terrible. It really did. It looked awful. But I gave it a try. Got myself some spam, just took a knife to it, was like carving as much as I could. And carving a shape, if you've never done it, it's a lot harder than I was expecting, honestly. Like, carving is not easy. Especially when you're dealing with something that's like as soft as spam, it just wants to fall apart while you're doing it if you're not careful with it. And I was just using like a butter knife. I was not being very tactful or whatever with it, so. But it came out looking more like a spaceship, I would suppose, than an actual little turkey. But it works. I mean, it still tastes like spam. I got my turkey for Thanksgiving, so my little spam turkey, so it wasn't that bad. I ended up frying it up. He had some cranberry sauce with it I made myself as well. And yeah, it was a pretty cool deal. So yeah, picking up a hobby, I would say just do it. Just do the thing. And don't worry about like being good at it or not. I know like for a lot of people, if they don't really excel in something when they start at it, they just looks awful. It's just like they don't really want to show it to anybody. It's a little bit discouraging, or a lot discouraging depending on the person. I know especially with me, I want things to look perfect. When I first do them, which obviously is not very realistic, it's not going to happen. But if you can, I would say make something and don't worry about how ugly and awful it is. Or if it's that bad, just don't show it to anybody. Just get rid of it. You made it, you got that experience out of it. And you know what? Maybe you want to try it again if it looks a little bit better. Like, hey, just show it to like your neighbor if anybody talks to their neighbors or whatever. I don't talk to my neighbors. Well, I just moved here as well, to be fair. Um, so, but also my neighbors are pretty much pigeons, like to crap on my balcony. So, but I'm sure pigeons are nice people. Actually, I wouldn't mind having a conversation with them, saying like, "Hey guys, what's up? You crap on anything interesting recently? Get any headshots or whatever?" Hmm. Oh wow. Also, just completely missed my mouth when I was taking a sip. That's great. I did have some whiskey before this as well. Not because I have a problem, but because I enjoy whiskey, and also I felt like it would help me be more talkative. And I've hardly paused since I pressed record, so seems like that's working out pretty well so far. Ew. It was a little bit of a hefty one too. I had some Jack Daniel's barrel proof whiskey, so it's 64.40% alcohol. Oh man, very good. Very hot though, just so you know, but it'll do the job pretty quickly. And if you're just sitting there to enjoy it, like it sinks up on you very fast. So yeah, I'll be more careful about bottle reaching phase. And I completely forgot the point that I was making. Wow. So there's the pause. My brain tries to like put a thought together. I was talking about pigeons, talking to neighbors. Oh yeah, even if it's awful, just who cares? Like I can't paint. My paintings all look awful. They're horrible, but it's just something that I do for me. Because why not? It's something creative, it's a nice outlet. And I also think, just in general, creating something is very, I guess, satisfying. Just something that is yours, that you made, you know, however it came out. That is something that you yourself put together. And that is an idea that I've always been, very, very proud of. It's an idea I really like. Whenever somebody like shows me something that they made themselves, I always think that's incredible. That's wonderful because like this thing was made by your hands, your ideas, and I don't know. I'm always seriously impressed by the idea, just in general. So I mean, if you can get the same satisfaction out of that because you made something, however good it is you made it, I really think that's a great thing. You know. So it's a good way to go. Start picking up a hobby, just kind of pick something. And if you're not sure about like, hey, what you want to do, like you want to do something. Because I know a lot of people, especially with the whole pandemic and everything happening in the United States, at this point in time, a lot of people were just kind of stuck inside a lot, and maybe you just don't know what you want to do, but you want to do something to kind of occupy your hands, just something to create, and you're not really sure where to start. Um, I would say just don't think too much about it because then, of course, you start setting yourself up to like not want to do any of it because you're just thinking too hard into it. If you're that kind of person, as well, I know some people just like want to make a good informed decision, whatever. But I would say easiest way, best way, fastest way to just kind of get started is just pick something, whether or not even sounds interesting to start with. Like going back to the pottery thing, I have no real interest in pottery, and I just decided that's the next thing I want to do because why not? Just like make a list of things that are creative, like writing or drawing or whatever, and just pick one. Just close your eyes, put them on a wall, stick your hand on the wall. If it touches one, pick that one. If not, then whatever one's closest or whatever. And I think that's a pretty good way to get started into it. You know. But I would say if there's something that you already know you've really been wanting to try for a long time, like say, um, what's a good hobby? I don't know what hobbies are. I want to say like poetry. Um, I guess you can consider that a hobby, or let's say like making videos. I know that's like a big thing with a lot of our younger, I guess people in general now, isn't it? Just because it's so accessible, to be able to just go and make a video, isn't it? I done that as well, of course. Woohoo, just inflating my ego right there for everyone to hear. But yeah, let's say like making a video, something that you wanted to do for a long time. You kind of looked into it, the whole process. It just seems kind of complicated or anything. Again, I would say just go ahead and do it. It may not be good to begin with, but that's a stepping stone. That's a starting point for you to move forward into something else, to get better with it, to find better resources, to find other people that have like-minded interests, because that also is a huge help. Especially when getting into something new that you're particularly interested in, seeing how other people think about it or what other ideas they've implemented into it is a great way for you to grow your own ideas, to kind of get that learning experience, I would say. So, like with my videos, lately I've focused more on the classic like YouTube let's play type deal. Super exciting, of course, but and I had no idea how to get started. So, like I did with the pottery or whatever, I just did a quick Google search. Internet is very helpful. I found a nice little browser-based recording system, so I don't have to pay for anything, completely free. Download a recorder on my phone, so again, don't need to pay for anything, and I just put the two together. Also downloaded a video editing software that was completely free as well. And yeah, completely free to just start this process. Already had some stuff on my computer, some games and whatnot. So for me, it was just the process of just like trying it out, seeing what happened with that. And I actually ended up really enjoying it. I haven't done it in a little bit. I've got 3 videos that need to be edited because I'm lazy, But they're there, you know. And not to mention, I have a whole catalog at this point of videos that are up that people can just take a look at and say like, hey man, that's really crappy. You suck at this. But I did it. It's mine. I made it. It's on the internet, whether or not people like it. It is mine, and it's something that I was really happy about, something that I was proud about. I know I mention a lot the whole like worrying about being good at something and whatnot, wanting it to be great to show people, only because I know that I'm very much like that. I already said that, didn't I? Yeah, you can tell I've had a little bit of a. It wasn't even that much. Jeez. Wow. Okay. Ugh. I think it's just me being dumb, which that happens too. I'm just saying. But I worry a lot about that, about things being yeah, and the rambling thing as well. Like I mentioned at the very beginning, I ramble, but I worry about things being perfect, being a certain way, especially when I'm new at it. I'm like, this is what it looks like. I have a vision of what I want to create, but because I don't have that practice, that experience, it turns out looking like crap. And I'm like, well, this sucks. Guess I'm not going to do this anymore. I am better about it now, getting more into it, of course, which is good, which I'm happy about. So, if you can be proud about something, whether or not it's good, then I think that's, again, a wonderful thing. You created something that is yours. Take as much inspiration as you want from any other sources, because why not? If somebody else did it first, see what they did. If it inspires you, I think that's amazing. It's a good way to, again, get into that hobby, whatever it is that you're doing. Especially if it does become something that you really become invested in, something you've got a lot of interest in. It makes a difference to get that experience and knowledge from another source, which, of course, I think is, as I've said it like 50 times, which I think is wonderful. And yeah, I would say that's probably going to be like the end of this episode, twice as long as the older ones, but we'll kind of see where this goes. I am really excited about like getting back into the whole hobby, the hobby, yeah, of making a podcast. I have a whole list of topics and everything. They're all completely random. None of them really make sense with each other, but you know what? That's, I guess, is the whole point. Whatever I want to do, it's my podcast. Whether or not people enjoy it or listen to it, I like the idea. I hope people listen to it. But I like the idea. I'm gonna make it happen. So I guess we'll see you in the next one. You all have a great night, wonderful day. Yep. Peace.